Well, Tyrod Taylor has the experience in the NFL. Obviously, Baker Mayfield does not, but Tyrod's numbers, dude, like not that good, except for
Yeah,
that 2015 season where he broke out in the 20 touchdown to 5 interception ratio he had. But you know what? You're the Browns. You have nothing to lose. Let's play with Baker Mayfield. See what
I'm
he can
kind of.
do for you.
I agree. Throw the young guy in. What can you lose? And if he's god awful, you got the veteran to back him up. But Baker, an exciting player, a playmaker, and similar to Tyrod. I mean, both guys that can move out of the pocket. They have some speed. Tyrod probably has more. But you mentioned it. And since that 2015 year, he hasn't even thrown for 20 touchdowns in a single season, only threw for 3,000 plus yards one year, which was in 2016. He didn't do that. What's also interesting about this team for the fantasy boys out there, they draft Nick Chubb, an exceptionally talented running back out of Georgia, who until he got, I think it was a MCL or ACL tear, was probably a first-round pick.
Yeah, he's one of the top running backs in this draft class.
But they also got Carlos Hyde, who finished top 15 last year in fantasy. So we got a little bit of a running back battle here in Cleveland. Jarvis Landry from Miami's on that team now. They drafted Denzel Ward at the 4 pick, which was just one of the picks I hated. I hated that pick last year. We'll see if it works out. And also, Josh Gordon apparently not going to report to camp on time for personal reasons. So that whole saga isn't even over yet. Rick, I'm going to put the over-under at 5.5 wins. What are you going with for the Browns?
Well, 4 was I would have said 4.5 for my over-under. So I will go under your 5.5, Alex.
Under my 5.5?
So if they go 5-11, that's a good year for the Browns, right?
Did you have research on that? Did you look up what the actual line is? Because I didn't. I just kind of made this up in my head.
No. I got you.
Okay. I feel like this could be a 6-win team. I mean, 6-10 is still pretty bad. I mean, that's not a good record. So I feel like they could have a chance to do that.
Oh, they didn't win a game last year, and they have a brand new team this year. Who knows?
Yeah, they kind of do. Hugh Jackson. I don't know how that guy kept his job, but my God, he did somehow. So that's NFL. AFC North. We'll probably do the South next week. Looking forward to that. Moving on. NBA, Rick. So we take a week off. You know, LeBron signs, a lot of crap happens, and you'd think that the NBA would just quiet down. It did absolutely the opposite. It got absolutely crazy. We haven't even talked about the Kawhi deal. Skinny K-Love gets a deal, and then
so much money
gets traded too. I guess let's start with Skinny K-Love. 4 years, $120 million for a guy that for Cleveland, his averages 13 points per game, 2 assists, 10 rebounds, 43% from the floor, and 38% from 3. Those are his, over his best 3 years in Cleveland, his averages. That is not a max player. That's not even close.
No. And he's not even the centerpiece of the team. That was when LeBron was there trying to get a supporter so they could win the championship. And he did win them a championship in 2016. That's all high and dandy. But I think this is Cleveland saying, hey, we lost LeBron. We're never getting him back. Kevin Love, you stay with us. You'll be the face of our franchise for the next 4 years. Here's all this money.
Yeah, and so his best 3-year average, because people are saying, well, now that LeBron's gone, maybe Minnesota K-Love will come back. So those numbers for Minnesota over his best 3 years, 24 points per game, so 11 points better. 3 assists, 1 better assist, 13.76 rebounds per game. That's when he was a monster on the boards because he still had that baby fat on his belly. His field goal percentage was basically the same with his 3-point shooting. But here's the thing. In Minnesota, he was 20 to 25 years old. In Cleveland, that run's been from 26 to 29. So he'll be 30 next year, and so he'll be 34 in the last year of this deal. I don't envision him scoring a good, efficient 20 points per game. And frankly, for a post player, I was surprised to see how low his field goal percentages were. He does take a lot of tough shots. You don't see him finishing really at the rim with a lot of dunks. He's more of a mid-range and fadeaway guy. So not necessarily the most efficient scorer.
Exactly. Plus, he hasn't been healthy in the last few seasons. So you're giving him these 4 years. How much time is he going to play? You brought up the age factor. He's not getting younger. Obviously, there's more stress put on him from an offensive standpoint. Like, hey, we don't have LeBron. We're going to rely on you to be our scorer now. And the injuries aren't going to go away for him. I hope this is a good move by Cleveland. I don't know. They play in the East, and there are really not many all-star players left in the East still.
I know. There's about 7 teams, and so they could conceivably get the 8th seed if everything turned their way. I think there's 7 really good teams in the East, and I think there's about 3 that are just kind of meddling there. So, yeah, I mean, that's Cleveland. I think they signed him just to kind of stay above water, so not a horrible move by them. Why K-Love wants to be in Cleveland, Ohio, I'm not sure, but apparently he does.
But the money.
I'll take, 4 over 20? 20? Is that 20? No, that's 30 a year. My God. Spurs Raptors, humongous trade. What were your initial thoughts? I actually thought both teams, frankly, for what the situation they were both in, did fairly well.
Well, there's a lot of drama behind this because DeRozan apparently met with the owners like 2 weeks before this trade happened, and they said he wasn't being traded. So the whole loyalty and sports debate got brought up, and should we be feeling bad for these athletes getting traded when they don't want to leave teams and all that? And then you have Kawhi Leonard on the holdout from last season. Spurs doctors were saying Kawhi was cleared in the second half of the season. Kawhi's doctors saying no, Kawhi didn't play the rest of the year. He goes to Toronto because Pop says, I'm done with you. I'm going to ship you out of the United States, and you're going to play in Toronto, which is a great NBA market, by the way. Their fans are crazy. They are very good at home. You look at their home record the last 2 seasons, they are very dominant. I don't know. And Kawhi Leonard might not even stay there, they're saying. So this is a crazy trade, and this just breaks up the league that much more.
Again, Kawhi's camp is just crazy because you heard reports that, he hates the cold, he's going to hate Toronto, and then you heard another report saying, no, he's going to love it there, and he already plans on staying. The thing with Kawhi and DeMar is that if you look at their numbers over the last couple of years, offensively, they're actually very similar. The one difference is three-point shooting. DeMar is a career 29% shooter. Kawhi's in about the 36% range. Obviously, Kawhi's defense is unbelievable. Former defensive player of the year. I think he's been in the all-defensive team 3 times. So his defense is amazing. The Raptors also get Danny Green, who used to be a really good three-point shooter from 2012 to 2015. He shot above 40%, but he hasn't gotten really in that range since then. And last year, shot below 40% from the floor. So you wonder how much Danny Green has left in the tank. On the other side for the Spurs, they also get Jakob Poeltl, who, good player, first-round pick 2 years ago in his second season, 7 points per game and just under 20 minutes per game. And they also got a first-round protected pick. Again, you're trading a guy in Kawhi that, although he's an elite player, like you mentioned, Rick, he might not even stay in. For the Spurs, they got an all-star in DeMar. For San Antonio, I think this trade certainly keeps them in. It's hard for me to say a lot to stay in the playoffs, but can you imagine Pop not making the playoffs? I mean, he always gets in somehow.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of young players that they want to get in now, so you can't bet against Greg Popovich. He's that good of a coach, and the Spurs are that good of an organization. The trade is good for them because now you get rid of Kawhi, and Pop's happy again because Pop was pissed about what Kawhi Leonard was doing. But you do lose a Finals MVP in Kawhi Leonard, and so that does hurt your team. And he was the centerpiece, but they've got a lot of young talent. They're going to move forward. I just hope that he stays on the Raptors, Kawhi does, and the Raptors can have a better season because Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Kawhi Leonard, they've got some players down in Toronto.
No, they certainly do. And here's the interesting thing in the West before we move on to baseball is, so last year, 1 through 8, how the playoffs were is Houston was the 1 seed, Golden State was 2, Portland 3, OKC 4, Utah 5, New Orleans 6, San Antonio 7, Wolves 8. Denver missed, and they got better. They got one of the best players in the draft, Michael Porter, in my opinion, and they also got Isaiah Thomas. The Lakers obviously get LeBron, and they were the 11th seed last year. One of those teams has to fall out of the playoffs if you're assuming that the Lakers get in. And Denver's knocking on the door, too, so, man, the West is just going to be ugly this year. There's just so many.
It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Plus, the Dallas Mavericks got that much better. And
They did.
I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but they're a team that's going to be knocking on the door in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we think OKC got better because they have Dennis Schroeder now and no Carmelo Anthony, because any team that Melo goes to gets worse, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. I agree with you on Dallas, though. They got Luka, my favorite player in the draft. I think he's going to be amazing. Wes Matthews comes back healthy. You already have Harrison Barnes.
Dennis
and they
Smith
got
Jr.
DeAndre Jordan. And they have Dennis Smith Jr. And they were the 13 seed last year. So
and another year out of Dirk. Yeah, it's. I like Dirk. Dallas, man.
I do too. I think they're a sleeping giant. I 100% agree. I'm so with you on that take. Basketball's going to be fun. Can't wait for December when it rolls around. I guess November. It starts more in November. But baseball is actually going on right now. And Rick, we just got about 6 little storylines going on. How about the Oakland A's? They've won 26 of their last 33 games, and they have a better record than the Cleveland freaking Indians who play in the Central. I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah, and they just picked up Familia to be their closer. They had a nice come-from-behind win yesterday. Chris Davis hit a bomb in the 9th inning. I like Oakland. Remember the first podcast of the year, I said they'd lead the MLB in home runs. They're actually 6th right now, I think.
Not bad.
Might change, yeah. So just throwing that bake the take out there for that. But hey, if you're trying to win the wild card in the American League, it's not going to happen because the AL West, AL East, they have some. They're going to have 2 playoff teams from each of those 2 divisions.
I agree.
Unbelievable.
Next on the list, I hate saying this, but I have to. The Cubs take over Ding Dong City as number 1 in the NL Central. Very disappointing.
Oh, you know that deep down you want to be a Cub fan, Alex. It's okay. You don't have to say it over the air. You know, Milwaukee just having difficulties all over. The Cubs had a mini skid. They lost 2 in a row at home, something they hadn't done all year before this week.
What? Are you serious?
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, losing 2 in a row at home. It has not happened yet this season until Monday and Tuesday against the Arizona Diamondbacks. But they won yesterday in the day game. Johnny Lester pitched on the mound. But yeah, Cubs 59-42. They have a .584 win percentage, best in the National League. But Oakland, for that matter, they're the last seed in the wild card. They have a better record than the Cubs at 60-43.
And that's insane.
And so does Seattle Mariners with 61-41. Yeah. Talk about crazy. The American League has some powerhouse teams.
Baseball, what a great sport. The Yankees add Zach Britton, one of the best closers in the game, when healthy. And the Orioles get the number 9 prospect for the Yankees, who's now the number 4th, I checked, for Baltimore. Dylan Tate, former first-round pick a couple of years ago. Not bad. Pirates won 11 straight until yesterday. So Pittsburgh was hot for a little bit. I don't think they're going to do too much, though. I think that was
they were really good in April, and then May and June they were awful, and now finally it's like, oh hey, we're good again. But again, it's too little, too late for them.
Yeah, I'm not buying Pittsburgh stock. Rick, this was good though. So Phil Hughes was on Part of My Take. It's a good little podcast that Barstool does. He was talking about mean fans in New York, and I was waiting for him. And he was talking about how fans on the street would say, Phil, you got to pick it up, or Phil, you suck. And I was waiting for him to tell the story about you. But he didn't, so I was pretty rattled about it. I just had to throw that in there. So
that is funny. Also, 2 weeks ago, Cubs played San Diego. Javi Baez hit a bomb off Phil Hughes, and the story just keeps getting better.
Yes,
he's a good guy, though. I hear
he is a good guy. No, listening to that podcast, I did like him. In other news, King Albert passed our boy King Griffey for 6 all-time in bombs yesterday, so that's kind of a big deal. Can you imagine hitting 631 bombs in the big leagues?
Yeah,
what that would feel like.
It's crazy. I'm still baffled. I mean, this isn't like people are going to be like, wow, Rick's an idiot. But the fact that players can hit a home run in the MLB is just mind-boggling to me. I mean, ball's coming in
hard.
95 miles an hour. You have no time to react. You don't know where the pitch is coming, but somehow these guys are so good, and they do it every single night. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, you watch a guy like Hader pitch or Chapman, and then starters, you got guys like Scherzer and Sale those balls just are all over the place, moving in all those different ways. It is hard to imagine how you can even touch that. I mean, I just don't even know. I'm with you. And then last but certainly not least, the Twins. A little sweep city action on the Jays. So are the Twins going